here is the truck that we're going to put this camera and stereo in. Here's what the factory dash looks like. Cool is this? Let's replace the handle, which is right there, with this one, which has the camera. The camera looks perfect. For today's project, I got a lot of projects. This is actually going into my Monty over there. I'm gonna bling out the whole front of that beast. After 31 years, it's time for a refreshing update on that thing. But anyway, focus on the stereo. So what we're doing today is this DS18. This is a double DIN in-dash piece, which I'm gonna put in my buddy's 09 Ram, which has premium sound, omitted, no amplifier, no nothing. So basically steering wheel controls. So I'm gonna be using this pack SWI-RC-1, which is the newest version. And this one works through the 3.5mm jack, which feeds audio controls right through the back of this unit. Believe it or not, this thing is really cool. It's hard to find these days. Right now, there's no microchips and stuff like that, as I'm sure you know. So this one here I got for a great deal, under 200 bucks. This is a smoking unit, dedicated rear camera input, front rear sub out, steering wheel controls, pretty decent output, 25 watts per channel, built-in fan, nice. DVD, mirror link, Bluetooth. You could do your GPS from your phone right into the screen. This thing's pretty damn sweet. So obviously when you want to start this installation, take out your hardware screws. That's a good reason why your DVD player isn't working. Good reason why I get a lot of returns, because people are so freaking stupid. So this is the double DIN dash kit. Just a bracket, one for the side, for the right, one for the left. You put it in, screw, 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 done. Here's your harness, color to color. Red you have to run out for accessory power on this 09. This we're going to connect according to the instructions, which I have lots of those in notes. So I suggest whenever you're taking on a job like this, even though this is an 09, believe it or not, there's still some technical stuff you have to pay attention to. So get their phone number. I already called this guy. It was pretty cool because this unit here doesn't have a setup screen for DS18, but basically it works out. It's just like the Pioneer. So the guy talked me through it, gave me all the dip switch settings for the steering wheel controls. Also the wiring for the power, turn on, ground, and everything like that for the steering wheel controls. More dip switch information. My own personal notes. You could also adjust the features on the radio through the unit. You can customize it so you can make, you know, fast forward, rewind, track forward presets, select, crotch, whatever you want to do. Bluetooth source modes. You always have to choose one because you can never get them all. This here is my chat information because I'm going to use the reverse camera input lead, and I'm going to be putting this in here for this guy. He's going to be so freaking excited, man. Dedicated camera for his rear tailgate, built right in there. OEM fit, perfect. Extra RCA cable because it's a big truck. So basically, this is what you need right here to do your job. Oh, where'd you go? Don't forget your antenna adapter. All these things are important. The one piece you forget won't help you. As an aside, if you guys are actually interested in doing custom engine work and modifications and stuff like that for this, you know, I had this old Monty SS in my show car. I got damn near trophies on every wall in this garage. They're taking over. Let me know. Put in the comments. It helps me know which direction to go with my channel. So I don't want to keep on doing the same old stale crap. Actually, for today, we're doing a Dodge. That's the first thing. Never see Dodges in my garage. So that's different. This stage is what we call this is the prep, where you take everything, put on the bench, you prep it up. You do your dash kit, you do your wire harness, antenna adapter, pre-wire, your steering wheel control, set all your dip switches, get everything set to a place where you just go into the vehicle, unscrew the dash, pull it apart, install it, mount it, connect your steering wheel controls, make all your plugs, run your camera, then you can get out of there lickety-split. It's like the 5 Ps, like I always said. I don't know if you ever watched my old videos, but I always preach about the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Lock it to memory. It's a keeper. So the first thing I'm going to do, take these shipping screws out. The ISO mount screws there. Like I mentioned a minute ago, this is an extra double DIN trim ring from a Pioneer. Look how smooth that thing can look. Matte black looks good. So if you have a little air space to fill, man, I'll tell you, they are great. Next, we got I'll do the hard stuff. This is my antenna adapter, which takes a universal male to the Euro style. Goes in there like so. Oop. Next, we're going to do the dash kit. Nothing complicated here. And you just find the appropriate screw that fits what you're doing. There's always going to be several holes on the side of these units that you could use. It doesn't really matter which one you use. I mean, the manufacturer will never put a hole on the side of a double DIN receiver if it's not meant to be putting the screw into it. So you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. I can see it. I'd be worried about seeing that, but take it from me. I've done this so many times. Never once have I had that mistake. I've had every other one though. You want to get it snug, but you don't want to bend the plastic or flex it, because when you mount this unit in the dash, all those slight imperfections will show through. Don't be afraid to be a perfectionist when you're doing these dash kits, because you got to look at this thing every single day you get into your vehicle. I don't think my buddy would appreciate this crooked ass radio. Good enough for government work, right? This is where your 4 factory screws are going to go. Boop, boop, boop. There's my side mounting screws. If you have more holes and extra screws, I like to throw them in there, but this one doesn't really have any option to do so, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Keep these for spare parts. Moving right along. I'm going to save this for last, the steering wheel control, because that's a little weird. This DS18 is a cool brand. I'll tell you, this thing, for everything this thing does, it's absolutely amazing how much this thing costs. I can't even believe it. 15 band EQ. Once I saw that, I said, my God, I would like this. I'm kind of jelly that this guy's got it. I don't have a freaking 15 band EQ myself. Okay, so here's your harness, which is going to go into your factory plug. When you plug it in there, you get yellow, which is your constant memory power. This you have to run out. See, it's got a little fuse tap in there. Red is your accessory. Black is ground, of course. Purple and purple black, the one with the black stripe is going to be your negative. It says your rear right. Green, rear left. The grays, front right. White, front left. Blue, that's your amp turn on wire. And that's all you need right there. So we're going to tie this into all of this and prep it up one shot together. It may sound a little bit difficult to do so much at one time, but believe me, to make it, do the wiring as an afterthought, it actually winds up looking like an afterthought. And you don't want your work to look like that. Take your time, print out the paperwork, ask for resources. The resources are online. It's all free. There's no reason why you can't not know how to do this stuff now. Used to be, there was a store for information. Now you got YouTube. Teach you everything for free. There's no excuse to be stupid anymore. Ignorance is not bliss. Okay. Brake, that's going to be for the DVD. We're going to ground that. Okay, your dash kit, we'll put that aside. Give that to him when he goes home. Okay. So here, this is called a wire Bluetooth mic, which is kind of hideous, huge. This will get mounted up on the sun visor up by his rearview mirror, so we're going to plug that guy in there. Just for the time being, I'm going to find it. Oh, you don't need this, because it's going to use this clip, right? So I want to use this clip, or do I want to use this clip? I don't know, this is kind of ugly. I'm going to use this. What the hell? And I'm just going to take a few feet of this back, because I don't want to have a mess, but I want to have it out. So when I'm ready to pop this thing in the dash, it'll be ready for me to go. So there's my microphone. I'm going to wrap this back up. Now I do have a plan. When I put this all together, they'll be wire ties and the harness will all look systematic, but for right now it's just going to be kind of like free for all and loose, because if you have to do some troubleshooting in the middle of your installation, which does happen, you want things to be loose. Okay, so nice microphone. This is the remote, don't need that. Baggie, don't need that. Okay, now here's your radio harness. Kind of like what I did for my antenna and my microphone. I pre-wired it, left a little bit so I can run it out of the dash, let it hang. I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of the harnesses here. And I had the unit orientated the same way as this diagram, so that way because this thing's got a lot of RCAs. So we got the rear cam, which is going to go here. Okay, and this here is just an RCA, it's about 12 foot. Whether I need it or not, I'm going to run it out, and I have a butt connector, RCA butt back in here somewhere, and I'll make that up to the camera in the back, wherever it meets up, and you have it disconnect in the center of the truck. You have to service it. So we got that, we got that, we got that. We got the module, we got the dip switches set. Now I'm going to wire my steering wheel control as it shows in this diagram. Right here, you just follow along, and or you can just fast forward and cut to the exciting part. The type of connectors that you use to make your connections is totally up to you. Some people are nuts with butt connectors, soldering, and all this crazy nonsense. I ain't with that. I use crimp caps typically. These here are 22 to 18 gauge. Those are the ticket for me. Pretty much, I think all we need in here. Yep. Okay. Aside from that, I use a wire stripper. There's my crimper and a set of strippers. That's it, man. Those are the tools of the trade. This here is my brake. I'm gonna ground that so you can have DVD regardless of moving or not. Here's my two grounds. The steering wheel control. Okay. Then you get your ground from the factory plug. Yellow is my constant. Yellow is the constant on this. So far so good, color to color, we like that. And there we go. To the deck, steering wheel control, power for the stereo. Just a piece of wire. It doesn't really matter what color. What matters is the radio side, pink. That's my reverse. Boop. This wire is going to have to be extended. I'm going to probably grab that under the driver's dash somewhere in here, most likely. So that's fine. Now here, amp control we don't need. Still don't know what the hell this black wire is here. Steering wheel control grounds. Where did I see that? Steering wheel control ground. Well, if it doesn't work, we'll know, right? Okay, so actually I think we found it. Pull that guy out. don't need. Reverse. These are my speaker wires. What else we got in here? Illumination. I don't think this plug even offers illumination. No, it doesn't. So if it doesn't have a wire to mate to this color, what you do is just cap it off. I'm sure this unit senses light with a photo sensor or has some selectable option for that. So we won't worry about that too much. And then this here is real super easy peasy. These are your high-level speaker outputs. You got 8 in total. 2, 4, 6, 8. And what the hell is this? Back car control? What the freak is that? Pink, what? Why don't they just call it reverse? It uses freaking retarded words. Fucking call it what it is. Reverse, Jesus. Sitting here melting while I'm thinking about what the hell reverse wire is called. I'm wasting my time. Okay. Let me knock these out real quick here. Amp terminal, don't need. Speaker wires, all you need is about a good solid inch of wire. That's all you need. There we go. This one here. Oop. Okay. So these will go to these. Now, even though this thing does not have an amplifier, I generally make it a practice to connect it anyway. I've had a lot of people, customers especially, say, oh, I don't have an amplifier in my car, I got the base model. And then you put the stereo in, or better yet, you pay someone else to do all the work for you, and they sit there and they struggle, wondering why they get no audio output when they never put 12 volts to the amp turn on. It could have solved all those problems. So the worst that could happen is you send 12 volts to the remote lead to a dead wire. That's nothing there to receive it on the other end. So there's no need to worry about connecting it and harming something. It will never adversely affect anything else. So I say just do it. If you're back here, just do it. I'm just gonna keep going doing this. And here's a little tip for you. Now, when you're doing your speaker wires, of course, you want to make sure you're going color to color. If you've ever been in someone's car and you're listening to it and they have the left side on and it sounds nice and bass, it's got some booms, it's kicking good, then you fade it into the right, and then the bass, instead of going twice as loud, it goes twice as bassy, and actually it goes hollow. It kind of sounds like a ghost speaker. The reason why that is because one of the speakers is out of phase. If you have one properly phased and on one side and out of phase on the other side, it actually makes it sound twice as bad. It's devastating. When you do it 2 times in the same car, it's really horrible. So make sure your colors are correct before you move on. Like I said, 5 P's every time. Here's another wire that they should do away with, like forever, is a power antenna lead. Unless you had some old Mercury or some custom car or something like that, you have no real use for that thing. This thing causes more problems than anything, because like this one here looks blue, this one here looks blue. So if you turn the system on and this is outputting 12 volts, it'll put 12 volts during tuner, Bluetooth, DVD, CD, everything. But with this one here, if you listen to the radio, everything will sound great. But then when you switch it to CD, this wire will go from 12 volts to low ground, and then the sound will cut out, and people won't understand what's going on. They think that their amplifier is broken. It's because this wire is not always throwing out 12 volts. The amplifier turn on is the one that does that job. Super important. And sometimes, most of these manufacturers, surprised this one does not, will have a dedicated blue and then a blue with a white stripe, so you know which one is which. But every brand's got their own little gimmick, I guess, right? Just because you worked on one brand once or maybe multiple times, people have a tendency to get comfortable and do what worked the last time on the new installation. And when you have a new brand like I have here today, could be bad. You don't want that. So try to always stay diligent with these kinds of things. I still don't know what the hell this thing is, but we'll figure that out in the vehicle. Or I'll call DS18 and say, what the hell is this thing all about? Illumination we don't need. I'm not sure if we need any of this, but if we do, it's there. If it's not, I'll just insulate it, tape it off with the rest of this stuff. Is your antenna, steering wheel controls connected, speakers, power. We have our extra red, which is going to the accessory fuse tap. Rear view camera. This is the antenna adapter and the microphone. So everything we need is right here. There's no amplifier going in this vehicle, so we don't have to sweat all this stuff. However, this is a really cool unit. I gotta say, look at that. That's the kind of thing that makes me crazy. Front, rear sub output, front and rear camera input, which is unheard of. Dedicated AV input. This thing's got a lot of stuff. Mirror link. The screen's even big. It's almost 7 inches. That thing's nice. This is a pretty freaking sweet unit, man. USB, flash drive, Bluetooth, mirror link. Man, crazy. This guy should be freaking breakdancing this weekend when he sees this crap. All right, so over here we got this thing again. The old extra wire syndrome. Let's just see what's going on here. Thank you, Wade West. Okay. So your antenna, rear cam, antenna adapter, rear cam, microphone. That's a no-brainer. So we're gonna P-tie these together. I love these freaking import wire ties. Okay, now these wires here, like I said, I'm not sure what I will and will not need for now. I'm just gonna tie these back. I'll finish those up and insulate them however I need to when the time comes. This black and this brown again, oh man, I'll tell you these things. So this concludes my prep, my wiring for the steering wheel control, primary harness, 16-pin rear camera, antenna adapter, and Bluetooth microphone, which are all run down, like I said. Here's that. Here's my camera wire. This is going to be my reverse lead, which I'll grab down in the kick. This is going to my factory harness. This goes to the steering wheel adapter. And what else we got down here? This is a USB, which I'm going to run out. And I also bought, I should get to this guy now. I'm a friend. Everybody should have a friend like me. Flush mount USB adapter, so you can plug in your gadgets in your dash, should you choose to. Dash kit's mounted. Shipping screws, of course, are out. And there's the front view. This thing's gonna look gorgeous once it's powered up. I can't wait to see that. Hope it sounds as good as it looks. So this here is the truck that we're gonna put this camera and stereo in. Here's what the factory dash looks like. And there's just 2 Torx screws up on top underneath that cover, and there's gonna be one hiding right there behind that panel. That will, then we can pull this panel out and replace that. And going back here, this is gonna be the OEM camera, which is gonna go right in here. Basically, we just pull this panel off. We're gonna just replace the handle, which is right there, with this one, which has the camera. And in here, it's already pre-illumined. That's what's cool about this thing. There's my signal, and the red goes to the reverse trigger, and then black is ground. That's going to run out, and that's in continuity with the red here, which will connect to the reverse lead behind the stereo, and that should be that. Right up here, these are the 2 Torx screws that I removed here and here. Once you do that, this will allow you to basically pull this whole panel off with your hands. Just start in one corner and work your way around. There you go. You just pull those plugs out to make it easier for you to work in here comfortably. And you can start your wiring on your head unit. As a side note, you might want to be careful before you unplug any of these things here, because you could trip an airbag light. So if it's not a total encumbrance to you, you might want to just leave the plugs alone if you're not comfortable doing that kind of stuff, and just work right here and put it all back the way it was. That's another way you can do it as well. So here's with my dash removed, and this goes to my data lead, which is going to go into the factory harness. This will supply information to the steering wheel adapter, which will also create an accessory output to turn my radio on, because the yellow from my memory is already there. So that saves you work from running and finding a wire to turn a radio on and off. This I'm going to wait for my camera to come from the back, and I'll plug that up along with my reverse lead. So now I just have to connect my main harness to the factory stereo. I already got my antenna adapter located here. Got my Bluetooth mic, which is going to run out. And that's pretty much it. We just have to wait for the part 2 from the back to connect to part 1 up at the front, and we can start testing things out. So this dash had to be cut out right here on either side, this metal sub-support panel and this plastic bracket up there, as well as this top, which is also where the 2 screws in the factory dash had to come out to allow the sliding in of this new dash kit. So if this had been an executive dash panel, which was a true double din, it just went right in there, pop in the 4 screws, and that would have been it. But this one here needed a little bit of massaging. All right, so the rear camera lead was ran down underneath the truck. It was brought out right behind the back of the cab and came out right underneath here. So here you're just gonna have your camera lead, and over here I have my other side, which I'm gonna put in the butt connector, color to color for my reverse trigger, which is gonna get the image up on the screen. So I got that run down here. Also down here, I got an HDMI, so you could do mirror link and get a hardwired link to do the CarPlay feature on the head unit. And this thing's getting close to being completed. Also right up here, that's my Bluetooth mic, which is up in the driver's side, which runs in this pillar. There's just 2 10mm bolts here and here that hold the panel on. You just remove it by pulling on it. Here's the new DDX unit in the dash. And that sweet EQ, look at that thing, looks so nice. Now we just gotta figure out how to pair this with the steering wheel controls, and this is a wrap. Check this thing out. You can watch all your cartoons right there in your dash with the mirror link. Look at that. All it is just a lightning cable. You plug it in there to the front. Painless. That is so cool. And steering wheel controls. Look at this. Super easy. Just, you can only learn 4 buttons. Just keep that in mind, because I learned that the hard way. How cool is this?
I am.
I suppose the inclination would be uncomfortable when you're alone.
Here's the back camera. Looks perfect.
Yeah.
Good job.
It did. It turned out pretty nice.